Hello, I am Bobby Case, and this is my Psychological Factors presentation for Kinesiology 552 Sport and Exercise Psychology. So, first off, a summary. Based on recent information from the CDC, also known as the Center Disease Control and Prevention, the obesity rate in children and adolescents has tripled ranging from ages of 2 to 19 during the years 1971 to more recent years of 2016. Addition to that, obesity is considered the most serious public health related concern of the 21st century, and that affects all individuals from children and adolescents to middle-aged adults. With that, children and adolescents who suffer from obesity are more likely to develop chronic diseases and suffer from mental illnesses. This includes depression, anxiety, and they're also more likely to become obese later in their adult years. So, the CDC of 2024 recommended that adolescents and children of the age 6 to 17 participate in physical activity of some kind for 60 minutes a day. This study is really important to me because it just creates an awareness of obesity in children and adolescents and how it can impact their lives, not only when they are young and in their youth, but how it can also affect them later in their adult years. So the three peer-reviewed sources from my annotated bibliography, the first one was conducted by Liu, Bin, and Jia of 2017. Their study examines the mental barriers that can affect children and adolescents with obesity. Their study also provided an insight to the physical and mental health concerns that obesity can cause, and the goal of this study was to help create awareness and just make sure everyone knows that the obesity is dangerous in both children and adolescents and how it can just impact their lives greatly. The second study was by Jerome et al. Of 2022. Jerome's study provided insight comparing screen time and related that to the lack of physical activity. So his study provided insight into screen time, which is one of the major contributing factors of obesity in the youth population. And his study also highlights the danger of too much screen time in the youth and how it also affects their overall health, ranging from physical to mental. Lastly, the study conducted by Farhart et al. Of 2010 focuses on the potential negative issues from obesity that leads into adulthood. So this includes major health concerns that affect both children and adolescents into their adult years, and how they also have an increased risk of using dangerous weapons, alcohol consumption, and smoking. So the goal of Farhart 2010 study was to provide awareness about obesity and the direct impact it can have on the lives of children and adolescents later on in their adult years. So impact of environment. The study conducted by Li et al. Of 2019 found that the economic level of an individual or family has a direct correlation to obesity. This is crucial for the study of obesity in children and adolescents because it offers an explanation as to why the lower income homes have a higher obesity rate. So this also supports how the social environment and family can negatively impact the well-being of children and adolescents. And because of that, it lowers the motivation of the obese population and puts them at an increased risk for depression and anxiety as well, both affecting their physical and mental well-being. The impact of the environment continued. The physical environment of the youth and adolescents population can be negatively impacted by their health and encouraging obesity unless something is done. The study conducted by Thomas of 2006 concluded that creating a balanced schedule, encouraging physical activity, and seeking help from proper health care can be beneficial to avoid obesity in children and adolescents. And again, that can affect the lower income levels because obesity is one of the major causes of our health problem in the United States and what we spend most of our money on as well. So Thomas' 2006 study was important to children and adolescents suffering from obesity because it can help motivate individuals to change their lifestyle and will assist in improving their physical environment, which can help impact the children and adolescents that suffer from obesity and create a more positive environment where they can focus on regaining their health so that they can live longer without chronic diseases, have more self-confidence, and just feel better about themselves overall. So, however, there are barriers of psychological growth in children and adolescents suffering from obesity. The barriers to the psychological growth can impact the children and adolescents with obesity and derive them from a lack of social support, is what Mark 2014 found. The social support will allow children and adolescents to know that they are cared for and encouraged to take part in physical activity and better nutritional habits as well. Additionally, another barrier of psychological growth is positive self-talk. This can affect adolescents and children with obesity because they're just lacking self-confidence and they don't know how to grow and they don't know how to help get themselves out of that rut. And it can just affect their mental health and just give them the increased risk of obesity and depression. And also can increase the risk, from we learned, of carrying on that obesity into adulthood. So, the four major factors. The first one is mental health. The study conducted by Liu, Ban, and Jia concluded that children and adolescents who are obese, they're linked to lower self-esteem, and as we know, they're more likely to suffer from depression. And that will all additionally carry on into adulthood. Secondly, economic status is another factor. The study conducted by Li et al. Of 2019 found that the economic level of an individual or family correlates to obesity. And then we know that the lower income families and children and adolescents are more likely to have a higher rate of obesity compared to the higher economic status. And this could be because food, like high processed food, is cheaper compared to whole grain. So that can also have a direct impact as to why the lower income families are suffering from more obese children and adolescents compared to the higher income status families. Thirdly, physical activity. Jerome et al., he examined the screen time and looked at physical activity. The higher levels of screen time can include lower levels of physical activity. This affects the children and adolescents because they're more focused on spending time on their phone, tablet, TV, computer, whatever it may be, instead of getting outside, being with friends. Now, we hardly see any children outside unless it's at recess or they're forced to be out there because they're always on a screen of some sort inside. Lastly, a factor that is a major contributor is long-term health concerns. So, the study conducted by Farhart et al. Of 2010 is a comprehensive investigation providing insight to health concerns that accompany children and adolescents who suffer from obesity. So, the biblical mission statement I chose to provide is from 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20. That says, "Do not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God, who are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies." And this comes from my version of the Bible, which is the Every Man's Bible, New Living Translations from 1996 to 2024. I chose this verse just because it encourages me to make healthy choices and understand that God has provided me with this body and that it's important to take care of it as He intended. So, to conclude the psychological factors presentation, with With the new knowledge I will apply moving forward from this course consist of cognitive and behavioral strategies that we learned from Mark 2014. The methods that Mark 2014 mentioned will support athletes and assist in their overall development as athletes and individuals. I believe this can also impact how they have a healthy living, both mentally and physically. So, the best recommendation for children and adolescents with obesity is to present them with knowledge and also to provide them an understanding of the negative impact that obesity can have on their body. We don't want to see young individuals suffering with obesity and carry it on into their adult years and just not living life to their fullest. Lastly, another contributing factor that I would like to dive in deeper about is understanding the ACSM Code of Ethics. This will be beneficial for me personally during my future career by understanding and improving the health and knowledge of the public and the community that I am involved with, providing them with workouts and key contributors to the proper nutrition and just how to support their overall health and avoid obesity and making unhealthy decisions that can affect them both physically and mentally. These are the references I used: the CDC 2024, the Everyman's Bible, Farhart, Jerome, Mark 2014, Lee of 2019, Liu of 2017, a CDC article from 2016, and then Thomas of 2006. Thank you.